Hey, we're back. Scott here, bringing you the family message today, and we're going to bring it from Luther Ridge. While I'm currently in Cincinnati filming this, I've got a lot of pictures and video that I'd like to share with folks, and so I hope that you enjoy the pictures and video that you'll be seeing as I'm bringing the message, and it inspires you to join us next year either at Luther Ridge or Camp Luther up in Lake Erie. Sit back, relax, and have a listen. In today's family message, we are focusing on the first reading from worship, Exodus 16, verses 2 through 4 and 9 through 15. Here's the reading from the Spark Story Bible. The reading starts, Manna, quail, and water. God loved the Israelites and their leader Moses. God promised to bring the people to a place where they could build homes and live happily. They had never lived outside of Egypt before, and they were afraid. But God went with them as they walked long and far to the place God promised. Traveling was hard and tiring. Along the way, people became hungry. They complained to Moses. "I'm so hungry," one boy cried. "I wish we could go back to Egypt," whined a little girl. "At least we had food and water there." Her stomach growled. The people missed their dinners of meat and bread. The Israelites didn't know that God heard them complaining. That evening, something strange happened. Tiny birds called quail appeared everywhere. God had sent the quail so the people could eat meat. The next morning, the ground glistened with fresh dew. Even after the sun dried up the dew, there was still something covering the ground. It looked like bread had rained down from heaven. It was manna. The manna looked like tiny seeds and tasted like bread. The people ate and ate. Every day, God sent manna and quail so the people had food to eat. The Israelites kept traveling toward the place God promised. After a while, they ran out of food. Even though God had given them food when they were hungry, the people still complained. "My mouth feels dry like a desert," sobbed a child. The people were thirsty. This time God told Moses to hit a rock with his staff. When he did, water gushed out of the rock. The people had more than enough to drink. God gave food and water to the Israelites every day. God took care of the people, just like God promised. So maybe you're hearing this story and you're thinking that the point of the story is that you should complain and you'll get what you want. But I don't think that's the point. I think it's more about having a little perspective on a situation and trusting in God. This past week at Luther Ridge, camp closed a day early. There were a couple of COVID cases in some of the other cabins. Not family camp, thankfully, but still, some people on site were getting sick with COVID. The rules Luther Ridge put in place to keep people safe meant that camp had to close early. During this week at Luther Ridge, we celebrate Christmas in July. Every year on Fridays during Christmas in July, magical things happen. Like it snows in summer, or we see Santa Claus, or the Grinch shows up. None of that was going to happen now. Some of the kids were pretty upset. Even some of the parents were pretty upset. And when bad things happen like that, we could focus on the bad. We can complain, we can think that everything is awful, but I don't think any of that is very helpful. Instead, I think we have an opportunity to lift up our concerns to God and look for the ways we are being blessed right now. In our story, the Israelites were without food and water. That's not good for sure. But they were so focused on the tough situation that they were in that they forgot that God was with them. They could have lifted up their prayers to God and been fed. They could have remembered the situation they were coming from was much, much worse. As for our situation at Luther Ridge, we could focus on the fact that camp was closing early and that some of the fun things that we like doing were not going to happen. For me, though, I trust in the Lord and that He has a plan. He provided us a lot of fun opportunities to play in creation throughout the week. We got to connect with our family and friends throughout the week. We played in the water, rafted, hiked, made crafts, ate s'mores, and decorated Christmas cookies. Even as a church community, we gathered most nights outside of one of the lodges for good conversation while the kids ran and played until bedtime. While tiring at times, being back at camp was a lot of fun, and we should remember that. And it's not to say that we should ignore the sadness of leaving early. But instead of complaining about it, do something. Lift those prayers of sadness to God and trust that He will hear them. As I've said in previous family messages, we don't always get what we want from God, but God always provides what we need. I hope you've enjoyed the pictures and video from our week away. I hope it inspires you to join us next year at camp, either at Luther Ridge or Camp Luther. Have a great week, and we'll see you on Sunday. Bye.